When you're not a fan of delays. It feels like everything's getting delayed now. Like everything's getting pushed back further and further and further. And it's kind of like it's deeply upsetting, because it's like why even set a due date? Last time I talked about how GTA 6 was pushed back. Yeah. They pushed it to next year, and I already saw that coming. But then I guess other games are like feeling the pressure as well because now this what is it, Marvel? It's like this World War II video game with like Captain America and Black Panther. It's like a different spin on the story. It's like they meet together in World War II times, and you know I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna sit here and be like I was highly anticipating the game, but now they've delayed it to next year, and it just feels like more and more and more video games and like other media releases are gonna be pushed back because they're like we need more time to work on this. It's like you had the time. I don't get it how like back in the day production and like they used to just like push like TV shows and movies out. Like it used to be really, really quick and good. And they used to do it in like with a lot more seasons and shows and like production wise. I don't know. But now it just feels like everything is taking so much time to do it. And it's not as much as I guess we're kind of promised initially. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We were promised GTA 6 in 2025. And they didn't deliver. Now they pushed it back. And then they promised, what did they do? They also promised like a new Marvel World War II game with Captain America and Black Panther. They pushed that back to next year. So it just feels like, when are they ever going to be satisfied with what they're doing or what they're going to come out with next, And I'd much rather not have any news or have any kind of like look at a game until they decide like, all right, it's ready to come out and it'll come out next week. Like that's how quick I want it to be. It's like generate the hype quickly instead of getting people like anticipated and ready for it just for it to come out like a year or two later after the fact. It's like, well, then all the hype's going to die down. Nobody's going to be interested in the game. It just doesn't make sense to do it that way. It's kind of like I remember when they announced the what's it called? Deadpool and Wolverine movie. They announced it, right? And there was genuine excitement over it. But then we found out that actually the movie's going to take place in 2024. Now that doesn't seem like anything now, but they announced this in like 2022. So it's like how am I supposed to be excited about this thing when it's not even time for it yet? Like I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to like get people worked up or excited over something that hasn't come out yet. But I guess it was more so to deal with like people who are going to not leak the story, what's it called? They were going to leak like set photos. So they needed to get out ahead of it and just announce the movie so that way when photos or whatever leak, nobody's like, oh snap, we know what they're doing, and like it's kind of like a surprise, and they don't ruin it. It's more so like they got out ahead of it and they controlled it and whatnot. So I don't know. But anyways, yeah, it just feels like more and more these days things are taking longer to make, and we're not in control of it, and we have no like say over it. It's like that thing where they said, we don't own anything anymore. Now it's all digital. It's all digitized. It's all like the company owns it and they will allow us usage of it, but we don't own it anymore like we used to, like when we had physical copies of stuff. Now it's more so like you need Wi-Fi to play online, and then you don't own the game. They can just take it away or delete it or whatever. It feels like we're losing a lot here. And I honestly hope that people start like demanding more from these video game companies of like, no, you're going to sell it to us physical copy and we're going to own it this way, because the way that you're doing it now just doesn't work. It's awful. It's not good, Obviously, we created this. We chose this. I guess there's a market for this kind of a thing, So I'm not saying it's like we're not to blame partially, but I do feel like there needs to be some sort of like public ownership of like whatever we buy instead of subscription services or like being allowed to use certain whatchamacallit, use certain things, you know? Like you're granting me permission to use a game I paid for. Like that doesn't work. That makes no sense. But anyways, back to delays. And also with like TV shows and movies, it just feels like I don't know how people did it back in the day, but they used to push out like 20 episode shows for like a TV show, like a season, and now we're doing like 8 episodes a season. And it doesn't feel like what the heck is going on here? You know, it feels like we're getting a lot less and they're treating it like we're getting like a good chunk of stuff, but we're not. We're actually not. We're actually getting a lot less value than what we're paying for or what we're being like asked to pay for. So it just kind of feels like a huge punch in the gut, so to speak, from time to time. I also just I don't know. I feel like there's so many chances for things to be fun and exciting and kind of like sped up and pushed forward, but there's always going to be something to wait for, I guess. There's always going to be something delayed or pushed back, or you have to wait like another year for them to work on, like, you know, that's just a given, right? But I don't know. I just feel like from time to time, I'm just kind of fed up with these entertainment companies and with the way the streaming services work, where it's just like, what are you doing? Like, you're making us wait for smaller seasons, for smaller amounts of product, of like of a show, and then expecting us to be like hooked on and ready to like watch it over and over and over again, you know? So I don't know. I think that there's some good to waiting, you know what I mean? You have something to like anticipate or to be like excited for. You know, it's good to have things that you're like, good to have something to anticipate, good to have something that you're waiting for, something to like look forward to, I guess, you know? But delays and anticipated like releases are two different things, you know? But that's just me. I really feel like we're in this digital age where it's like the really good stuff isn't as great as it used to be, and then the really free stuff is pretty darn good, but it's just kind of like you consume it and then on to the next thing and then on to the next thing. So you have to kind of ask yourself, is it worth it, or what do I want more of, I guess, you know? And I think there are more people that would want 20 episode seasons over 8 episode seasons, and like maybe like limit certain social media like consumption. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how I'm thinking about it. You know what else are delays? I think like concerts or events or other things that get pushed back, and it's kind of like I wasn't really like sometimes you're kind of like I wasn't really like all that caring about this thing, but now that they've delayed it or pushed it back, like I honestly don't get how like those big events do it anymore these days. Like it just doesn't seem like all that much. It doesn't feel all that worth it anymore, because it's like those big festivals. It's kind of like it's overcrowded. There's too many people. It's hot outside. It's cold outside. It's whatever. It just, I don't know. I don't know how that's like, feels like a good time. And then there's too many like variables or too many bad things that could go wrong. So whatever. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of like this new, we're going to push it back so that way we can deliver the best product available. It's like you're pushing it back because you didn't anticipate like the deadline being this bad or whatever. Like you're doing this now because you're not good at what you do. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what it is. But again, this is just my opinion, just talking out loud here, but hopefully you guys will understand, you know what I mean? But some things get pushed back, and in the end it's not that big of a deal, but I don't know. I like it when they tell me this is when it's going to come out, and then they stick to it. Like they told us that Spider-Verse movie was going to come out like last year or this year or whatever, and now we're nowhere near a release date. Am I upset about it? Kind of, because they made the promise that it was going to come out, but now it's like I want them to deliver the best thing that they can, the best movie that they can, and if they can do that, then I'm okay with them, like the animators or whatever of that movie, taking their time to like get the story right, to get the animation right and the feel of it. Take your time, But again, they delayed it, so not a fan of that, but it is what it is. And yeah, outside of that, I mean, there's so many things to look forward to. I guess that's the good thing about it, is that like there's always going to be something to look forward to or to anticipate for or be ready for, so until then, until everything starts getting released, we're just in this like, all right, we're going to deal with the same old stuff, but we'll know. We'll see until then. But as for right now, I think the thing I'm anticipating the most is obviously the next Avengers movie, if I'm being honest. No, I think the next Fantastic Four movie right now is like a big deal. I think, yeah, those are the things I'm most anticipating. Just because it's gonna like set up whatever they're gonna do next with the Marvel movies and stuff. There's also the Demon Slayer movie, which I'm looking forward to, the next one coming out. TV shows and other things of that variety. I'm excited for. I just, it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. And you know what pisses me off is that there are these kids, right? Little kids today, okay? You ever think about this? There's a little baby born right now in 2025, which is like, all right, kid, you missed everything. But then the other thing is that like, now they can binge watch everything. Like, isn't that messed up? Like, I had to sit here and I had to wait for like season after season after season of a show. And this kid just gets it all. He just gets it, he or she, they get it all right now. It's like, darn it. You know what I mean? Like, they get to, like, what's a popular thing? Like let's say, okay. I have been watching these Marvel movies since I was 8 years old, okay? But now some kid just gets to watch like Avengers Endgame right off the rip. Like, I had to build up to that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't work, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're a parent and if you have a kid, right? Your job is to take them through the journey, from Iron Man all the way to Endgame, okay? But it feels like they could just binge watch all of the movies, and that doesn't work, okay? It should be like you watch Iron Man in 2008, and then The Incredible Hulk. You skip 2009, and then 2010, you bring them, you know what I mean? Like, you got to, every single year, you got to hammer it in. You can't just give it all at once. But now with social media and YouTube and everything, now it's like they can just sneak and watch it whenever they want, and it's like you're ruining it for yourselves, That's the sucky part. So I got to grow up and watch it happen while they had to like just sit down and watch it in one go. And now they're like, obviously they're obsessed with it, I guess, but it's like there's a missing joy in growing with it as opposed to just sitting there and going through it in one go. So I don't know. So maybe that's an argument for like why things should be delayed, but not for me. Not for me now. Like, I don't like things being delayed for me now as an adult. But like, if you're a kid and you have literally so much to watch, like, The world is your oyster. Like the world is open. You know what I mean? You have so much things to like watch or maybe consume or like, you know, video game wise, you can still like play GTA San Andreas, GTA 5, you can still play and do all of that other stuff. But like for somebody like me or somebody who's like a fan of video games or whatever, that's like, well, I can't keep on playing the same old, so we got to see what else is coming out, what's new, what's coming out, what's fresh, you know what I mean? So that's where like the delay hurts. So I guess it's never been a better time to be a kid, you know, to have so much to watch or to look forward to, I guess. So overall, when you're not a fan of delays, what are we gonna do? What are we really going to do? We gotta find some way to hit the companies in the wallet. You know what I mean? Force them to do things our way, so that way they can like, when they say they're going to release something, when they say they're going to release it, they do it. You know? I don't know how, but we got that's the goal. That's the trouble. So until then, we're gonna keep on being delayed, but it's not all bad. We have so much like out there to watch and consume and stuff. It's, you know what I mean? I'm just nitpicks here, just little, you know, champagne problems, whatever. But yeah, these delays are getting annoying and whatnot. So we'll have to see. But anyways, at least we have something to live for, huh? But yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys all next time. Thank you.